Get the boat gassed up, saunter down to the dock. Put the Yeti in the back and she's ready to rock. It's a May River thing. It's a May River thing. It's a May River thing. Got the whole family down here. It's a May River thing. If you ain't got a boat, you can hitch a ride. I'm sure one of your buddies has a sensitive side. Pay for some gas, donate some brews. It's a May River thing. It's a May River thing.
Well, hello. It's Tim Wood with you for the latest edition of Lowcountry Chronicle, the February 12th, 2025 edition. So, I'm not going to go inside baseball too much here, but this is our third attempt at recording this, and I have decided to put this on live because with the podcast, I don't see why we wouldn't do it live, right? Well, there's some issues that come up when you do it live, okay? And again, little behind the scenes. There's a lot of things that go on with what we're doing with the show. A lot of different buttons to be pushed. I'm hosting. I'm producing the show at the same time. It's all on a shoestring budget. So, yeah, so we had some technical difficulties with the video the first time we tried this. Then, the second time that we started this, things were going great. And then all of a sudden I noticed my mic wasn't on. So we're going to try this again. We got a great episode for you. I promise you. If we can get through this whole thing, we have a fantastic episode. Some great news from around the Low Country. Some interesting news as well. Well, I guess we start there. This morning, February 12th, got a press release from the Beaufort Township Fire District that the board of directors had decided at their latest meeting to relieve Chief Paul Boulware of his duties, asked for all of his property pertaining to the BTFD, asked for all that back, put acting chief Derek Church in charge. That's what we got in the press release. Now, Chief Boulware has served the Low Country for 3+ decades, very distinguished record of service. This came as a shock to Beaufort County, to everyone that heard this news. This is why we came on later today, just because we're trying to get more information here. There's not a whole lot more information. Mitchell Black from the Post and Courier talked to the county. The county said that it's technically a retirement, not your usual retirement in terms of celebrating 3+ decades of service. Mitchell Black also learned that there's an investigation by Beaufort County attorneys around Boulware. So that's all we know at this point. And I would encourage you to take a look at Mitchell Black from the Post and Courier. We posted a link to his article on our post about all this, on what's happening in Bluffton. It's a very confusing story, weird, um, just strange. I will say, just having been in media for 3+ decades, having been on both sides of this, having written the press releases, it was a very odd press release. It didn't paint Chief Boulware in a very positive light, and I appreciate their efforts to be transparent, but they really created more questions than they gave answers. So that will all play out over the coming weeks. I know Mitchell's article will be updated as he finds out more information. I know Andrew Davis, all the local TV stations are trying to work this as well. So, and if we get more information, we'll post it on what's happening in Bluffton. We'll also discuss it on the next edition of Lowcountry Chronicle. So there's the breaking news today. And I do also want to point out that Mitchell did a wonderful article on the celebration of life for 8-year-old Adam Meisner, the youngster, the River Ridge Academy student who was tragically killed. And that's bad wording. I apologize. He was killed in a pickup truck hitting his bike. No charges in the accident, just a very, very horrible accident. And so Mitchell did an article on Adam and the celebration of life. As you're looking at his article on the Beaufort Township Fire District, please check out that article. It was really well done. And I want to say that to date, as of our recording, the GoFundMe has raised over $33,000, about $33,500 so far. Please keep that up. Go to the GoFundMe. The link is on our page at What's Happening in Bluffton. And please keep contributing to help the family with the funeral costs, with the support of their surviving child, and everyone has been amazing in their support in this just tragic time. We had another tragedy involving a youngster, a 5-year-old in Palmetto Point, apparently some kind of drowning. He passed away this past weekend. We have shared a GoFundMe for that family on What's Happening in Bluffton. So, hate to bring this, but we titled this Lowcountry Chronicle. We want to mostly focus on good news, but we want to bring all the news that we hear to you in a fair way. Again, no speculation, no rumors, just putting out the facts as we know it. So please contribute to those GoFundMes. I do want to alert you to a couple of efforts that we have going around Lowcountry Chronicle, What's Happening in Bluffton. First one, this mug, a 20-ounce mug. We have some merchandise available now. And the first one is this mug. On this side, the What's Happening in Bluffton logo. On the other side, a logo, I'm in a Bluffton state of mind. I created that logo. It's just kind of encompasses what we're trying to do with Lowcountry Chronicle, What's Happening in Bluffton. You buy the mug, you buy any of the merchandise that's on lowcountrychronicle.com. You click on merch, and there's a What's Happening in Bluffton section. Any of your purchases there will help support our mission to share the news, share good news, share anything that's happening around the area with you. So we also have an effort going on around events. We've started to beef up our event calendar efforts. It's What's Happening is in the title. So that's what we're trying to do is to get basically everything that's happening around the region. Organizations can submit directly to lowcountrychronicle.com/events. You can submit your events there. we're gathering as many events as we can to put on that calendar, and we'll start sharing those events on Lowcountry Chronicle to kind of give you a preview of what's coming up. But definitely just want to alert you, we're not going to have as many individual event posts anymore on the main feed of what's happening in Bluffton. They will all go on that event calendar. We want to definitely spread that as far and wide as we can, and share as many of the events going on around this glorious region as we can. So the last thing I just wanted to mention real quick, folks have asked me about this logo, about the What's Happening in Bluffton logo. That is that dog right there is actually real. That is a dog that I did a story on a while back. His name is Mr. Wibbles, and you'll if you go to the What's Happening in Bluffton page, you'll see you'll see the photo of Mr. Wibbles on this Wibbles Wednesday, as Angie Jenkins Quinn has dubbed the Wednesday. She shares photos of Mr. Wibbles every Wednesday. So us being Wib and our members being Wibbies, Wibbles was perfect. So he is the inspiration for the logo. And the photo that's up there on What's Happening in Bluffton is basically a recreation of what we did with him for the logo. So it's adorable. It's actually the first time I saw this photo today. So it's just absolutely adorable. So I hope you'll check that out. So some really cool sports news to bring to you. First of all, on Tuesday, we had a really big game in the area, a boys basketball game between Bluffton and May River. Came down to the last shot. Bluffton leading 48-47. May River has one last shot and misses a game-winning three-pointer to give Bluffton the 48-47 win. This video is courtesy of David Grissom, the old McCracken basketball coach back when Jake was at McCracken, my son Jake. So Bluffton's now 21-2. May River's 15-5. They will play for the region title Thursday night, the 13th. They will play at May River for the region title. They're tied now. Bluffton is technically one game ahead in the region. May River wins. They win because they hold the tiebreaker due to an earlier win in the season over Hilton Head that Bluffton was not able to secure. So Bluffton wins. They win the region title. And they're both going to the playoffs. We know this much. They're both doing phenomenal things. And so congratulations. Harry Skinner led the Bobcats, 10 points, 10 assists, I believe 8 rebounds, career high at Bluffton. Great job from all of the Bobcats there. So the Sharks lost that game, but they had a huge win over the weekend. The May River Sharks wrestling team actually pulled out a state championship victory. The 4A state championship. We already had chronicled that they were the lower state champions, and they actually pulled out the state championship this weekend. They were down 35-11 against Lawrence, the upper state champion. Now, how wrestling works, if you don't know, if you've never kind of followed wrestling, they have a bunch of weight classes. I believe maybe 12 weight classes. And you get there's a match in each weight class. Each opponent sends a wrestler in that weight class to battle, and you get each team gets points for each weight class. Lawrence was up 35-11. Now, in wrestling terms, that is a lot. That is basically, at that point in the match, you have got to run the table. And that is exactly what the Sharks did. They started with Bo Gwynn at heavyweight. He got a technical fall victory. Stefano Calderon Calderon got a tech fall victory at 106. Ryan Semin got a victory at 113. Marcus Folk got a pin against Lawrence at 120-pound weight class. It all came down to Liam Engblom. Engblom. I apologize if I'm getting the name wrong. But Liam pulled out an 8-1 victory that secured the state title for May River. So huge congratulations to May River. That's a big win for the Lowcountry. Congratulations to Coach Ashley Powell, to the whole team. And we will talk more about this on the next edition of Lowcountry Chronicle. Hope to catch up with Coach Powell and a couple of the wrestlers over the next couple days. But it's huge news, great news for the Lowcountry, and just outstanding for May River High School in representing the region. So congratulations to the Sharks there. Okay, so we later on we're going to talk to Bluffton Town Council member Emily Burden. We're talking a little bit about the Parkway Corners development on the corner of Bluffton Parkway and Buckwalter Parkway. And we will talk to Emily, the newest Bluffton Town Council member. We'll talk to her about how the town decided to annex this property into the town to have more control over the development. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, we're going to get into the first of what I hope is many business spotlight interviews. Those who know me know I'm a huge supporter of local small business. Downtown Beaufort right now. They are in Oakity/Bluffton, right at the entrance of Sun City, the back entrance of Sun City on William Pope Drive, across the street from Oakity Ale House. Just a wonderful place. Family owned and operated. They've got the pharmacy. They've got a soda fountain, an old school nostalgic soda fountain where you sit down on the stools and have some ice cream, have some shakes, some hot dogs, some lunch specials. It's really kind of a magical thing that they started there. I did an article on them way back, and that's how I got to know them. And then we switched over our prescriptions, have just been thrilled with the service there. They've got a gift shop there as well. And we just wanted, I was so excited to have them as our title sponsor for this, and they're a sponsor, a partner over at What's Happening in Bluffton. And so felt it apropos that our first business spotlight is with the owner of Beaufort Drug Company, Jacob Dotson. It's time for the Lowcountry Chronicle Business Spotlight, and we're thrilled to talk to the owner and operator over at Beaufort Drug Company, Jacob Dotson. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. Great to be with you today, Tim.
We're thrilled to be partnering with you. I've been a fan of what you're doing since the day you guys opened, and you guys just continued to do right by my family. So we wanted to kind of get the word out to the community and get the sing the gospel a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So
It has been so much fun becoming a part of the community and getting to know folks from all over and from all over the country. Just been a blast, and we're just loving every minute of it.
So tell me a little bit in terms of what brought you to the Low Country.
Yeah, so ours is kind of a stereotypical story of a lot of folks that are here. We are from Kentucky, born and raised, and I always vacationed here growing up, and always had the dream of being able to move here to the Low Country. And so a few years ago, we decided to make that dream a reality, and took a leap of faith, and came down, opened up the store, and here we are.
The store, when you say Beaufort Drug Company, people get certain expectation. The whole title is actually soda fountain and gift shop, but
Sure.
what made you kind of want to have this kind of amalgamation of the pharmacy, the old school style soda fountain, and then a gift shop? How did you guys kind of think up this format?
Yeah, so I've actually been a part of a pharmacy back in Kentucky that opened in 1950, and so we had the old school soda fountain with milkshakes and the card section and gifts, and so just a lot of fun. It's such a neat vibe, and it takes you back to a time when patients were really first, and so we wanted to create an environment where people knew that we were putting them first above everything else.
It does kind of get lost in the shuffle these days, right? I mean, we get kind of used to the chain pharmacy, and I don't like to I never like to trash any other businesses, but um, you guys you guys kind of do it the old school way, just kind of one-on-one relationship building.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really what we're all about. We are all about getting to know our customers, getting to know about their families, their stories, and I think that is definitely what makes us unique is that, we call it our pharmacy family, and we really do mean that. That's been the fun part of it. We've laughed together, we've cried together, but you really do become a family.
Absolutely, and it definitely shows from just the folks that are there every time you come in. They get to know you, and they're always friendly, whether it's at the pharmacy or the soda fountain. And um, specifically with the pharmacy, you guys have um, how do you compete with the big boys nowadays?
Yeah, so we are a full service pharmacy. We accept all insurance plans. We accept GoodRx. So we are fully contracted with everybody. The great thing is that many of these insurance plans have to extend the same contract pricing to independent pharmacies, just like they do the big box stores. And so we certainly benefit from that. And so we tell people that we are absolutely committed to making sure that they are not paying more at our pharmacy than they would at any other pharmacy. So I tell people that the price will be the same. The only thing is you'll be a lot more appreciated.
Absolutely. And you guys do some special services like compounding, right? Which you
We
may not be
do,
able to
yeah.
get at other spots.
Sure, yeah. So compounding, of course, is kind of specialized and tailored medication needs, and so we're able to do lots of different compounding products. We are able to work with local doctors and physicians to be able to get dosages right and that kind of thing. A lot of times you'll see that with creams and topical products. Are what are most common. Also, vet meds. We do a lot of veterinary compounds with local vet offices.
Do you really? All right, that's
Yeah,
something I didn't even know. Wow.
yeah,
That's good. That's good to know.
yeah,
Because those are that's a difficult thing to find.
yeah. It
Okay.
is. It's such a niche kind of thing. But we love our animals, and so we got to take care of them. And so we've kind of been committed to making sure that we have what they need as well.
They're family for sure. And then you guys do flu shots. Um, any other shots
Yeah.
that y'all
So
do?
So any immunization that is currently available, we're able to do those. We love to travel offsite. We'll do vaccine clinics in different communities and be able to offer those vaccines. And the great thing is that 99% of the time those are fully covered by insurance as preventative medicine, and so there's almost never a charge for any of those.
So tell me a little bit of how you guys have grown the soda fountain. Obviously started with ice cream and shakes, but kind of it's taken on a little bit of life of its own in terms of adding to the menu. I've noticed whether
Yeah,
you're naming things after customers or you're just adding new
for
items to
sure.
the menu.
Yeah, so we started out. We sell Hershey's ice cream. That's our brand of ice cream. So we started out just kind of with Hershey's ice cream and milkshakes, that sort of thing. And then as people came in and started asking for some specialty drinks like an egg cream or a black and white, we added those on. A lot of times with the namesake of the customer that asked us or taught us how to prepare it. And so then as time went on, we branched out into offering some lunch items. So we started with chicken salad croissants, and then we expanded to pulled pork sandwiches. We now have hot dogs, hot ham and cheese croissants, and several other things. And so it's definitely grown, and we think it's a good value and some really good food.
No doubt about that. Yeah, every time I say I'm headed over to Beaufort Drug, Jake or one of the kids wants to either get a shake or a hot dog, and then it's like, they see the lunch specials, and it's like it turns into a whole whole menu, whole 3-course meal,
That
Um,
happens for sure.
how about the gift shop? Was your family operation? Who handles the gift shop?
Yeah, so my mom Judy does most of our purchasing, and I know that we've got vendors and suppliers from all over the country. We've got handbags and candles and lots of home decor items, a kids section, and lots of neat goodies.
Tell folks a little bit, because this is the question I get asked all the time. Tell folks about the name. They immediately think, okay, they must be in like downtown Beaufort, but
Yes, absolutely. I have to say the name is definitely misleading. In hindsight, may not have been the best choice. So we are Beaufort Drug Company. When we were in Kentucky and just planning, on making our arrangements for being able to come down, we knew that we didn't want to copy another pharmacy's name or anything like that, and so we knew, of course, that we were in Beaufort County and wanted to serve different communities in Beaufort County, be that Oakity or Bluffton or Hilton Head or Hardyville. And so we thought that by adopting Beaufort Drug Company, that would be inclusive of everybody. Of course, when we got here and kind of got to know the landscape a little bit, the close proximity of the actual city Beaufort that doesn't bode too well for us sometimes. So
I joke with everybody that family owned and operated. It should be the Dotson family pharmacy, but you're just not vain enough to go that direction. So that speaks volumes about what you guys do. Um, in terms of what do you want people to know, just in terms of um, if they're thinking about making a transfer, they're thinking about working with you guys and moving their
yeah.
prescriptions. How you
So
know how what's the process like?
Sure. So the first thing that I would say is it is incredibly easy. The only thing that we need from people is their name, birthday, and what pharmacy that they currently use. And then we're able to do all of the work, all of the details of getting their information over. We take care of everything. So name, birthday, and pharmacy, and they are done and ready to start filling their prescriptions with us. The next thing that I would say is that we want people to know we would never expect them to pay more coming to our pharmacy than another pharmacy. And so I say that because we want you to know that our priority is going to be making sure that our prices are competitive, and we tell people that your copays will be the same or better at our pharmacy. And so that's really important because we value what we know you have to value. And then lastly, I would just say that you really will matter to us, and I sincerely mean that you will not just be a number. We're not just trying to meet metrics or corporate world parameters that they set, but you really will matter to us. We will know you. You'll be able to call us. When you call, we answer the phone. It's not a 10-minute process to get
Crazy
somebody.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You call, we answer, and we will know you. We will value you, appreciate you, and would love the opportunity to earn your business.
Well, I've said it before, but I mean, you know, uh, that was our experience. It's been our experience since the day that we went with you. I was so excited from a writer perspective just to do the story on you guys, but then to actually see how you guys operate. We made the switch. You guys, you know, and our family, we've had some interesting pharmacy needs through the years, and you guys have always come through for us, and so it's very exciting. I always tell folks that I want to work with people that I can actually feel good endorsing, and because that matters, your word matters, and so just the opportunity to get to work with you guys, it's been real exciting, and we're so glad to have you on today, and so glad to let the community know a little bit more about Beaufort Drug Company.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We appreciate you and your family so much, and very much appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. So thank you.
So the phone number 843.
707-7077.
Pretty simple to remember. Pretty simple to remember, and it's Beaufort Drug. Is it Co or Company?
It is either one. The website address is BeaufortDrug.com.
Got BeaufortDrug.com. Awesome. Okay. Jacob Dotson, pleasure to have you on today. Really appreciate all you do for the community. Pleasure to have you here in the Lowcountry, and we're excited to see what's next for Beaufort Drug Company.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it.
Okay, so that is the owner and operator of Beaufort Drug Company, Jacob Dotson. Recorded that yesterday, thus the different outfit. You're going to see 3 different outfit changes if you're watching this. You're not going to see them if you're listening. Speaking of listening, just want to point out that we are in a lot of different spots for you to be able to listen to what we're doing with the podcast. Let's see here. Here we go. iHeart Podcast, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, obviously, Amazon Music. We are on all those locations. You can listen, subscribe, download wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and we hope to become one of your favorites. So that's the information there. All right, we're in uncharted territory here. I said earlier in the broadcast, third time's the charm. This is our third time trying to do this live. So huge shout out to Jacob. So the next thing that we wanted to talk about is you know, there's been a development going on at the corner of Bluffton Parkway and Buckwalter Parkway. There's been a lot of talk about what's going on in the middle of that, a lot of talk about the extension of the Buckwalter Parkway. This specific topic has nothing to do with that, although it certainly could come up later in the equation. But what's been happening there is the town has annexed the property there at the corner of Buckwalter and Bluffton Parkway. And so now they've brought that into the town, which means they're going to have control on how it is developed. They will get the tax dollars from it. But, you know, been a lot of discussion of, well, you know, is this a good thing? Well, listen, the development was approved. So using that property the way that they're going to use it had already been approved. Then it just became a matter of who is going to be in charge of making sure the development is right for the area, and now so the town's in charge of that. As came out this week, now it's before the planning commission of the town, and it now has a title. The development has a title. It's going to be called Parkway Corners. That's the title right now. We'll see if that sticks, but that's the title right now. It is a pretty sprawling property, as we're about to show you. Now, it's, again, at the corner of Buckwalter and Bluffton. Now, the Publix right there, the Innovation Drive that goes in the Publix, they are clearing all that land right there, right in front, along the road. They're leaving some trees there, but a lot of work going on there for, I believe, another hospital project. I believe that's going to be Beaufort Memorial that's doing that hospital. Across the road is Parkway Corners. Now, we've learned a little bit more of what is being planned there. They are hoping to build a 100-room hotel there, a hospital, which you see more towards the Buckwalter Parkway. It's the Novant site. That will be a hospital site. And so we're going to have two new medical facilities right near each other there at the corner of Buckwalter and Bluffton, as if this development is approved and moves forward. There's also plans for every little red building you see on this is a plan for a commercial building. So there's 36 commercial buildings planned in the middle of all that. So a hotel, a hospital site, 36 commercial buildings. That's what's on the table for Parkway Corners. Now, when this was going through with the town, we had a discussion with Bluffton Town Council member Emily Burden about the town's decision to annex the property and what lies ahead in the decision-making process. So let's bring onto the podcast the newest member of Bluffton Town Council, Emily Burden.
It's been a hot button issue in town lately. We're excited to have with us today Emily Burden, the newest member of Bluffton Town Council. Emily, how are you today?
I am great today. Thank you for asking. And thank you for having me to talk through some of these issues.
Absolutely. I think that all the talk online, you either hear the haters or you hear the, not everybody's going to speak up online. Not everybody has watched or attended the town council meeting. So yeah, we very, very thankful that you were able to come on and just kind of go through some of the issues here. So just as an overview, the Reed property off of Bluffton Parkway and Buckwalter Parkway, is it 65 total acres?
Yes, 65 total acres that we just at our last November meeting approved this to be annexed into the town.
Now, there's always been a lot of talk about annexation, and the last annexation, there was this sense, well, that might be the last one, just because it takes a lot to get a parcel annexed. More so when you have homeowners on it than not. But in terms of what made this palatable or attractive in terms of the town annexing this property?
I think there's a few things. One thing, and it's something that we hear all the time, but it's why do we have these what we call donut holes, these areas in town that a lot of people assume are actually in Bluffton when in fact they're not, but the property, 100 feet the other direction is. And so trying to close up some of these donut holes has been an initiative just for confusion. And it really, whether it be police or even some people, I know that some people wanted to run in this last election and they actually plan on filing, and then all of a sudden realize that they weren't in the town. And so you don't get a vote in some of these local elections and things like that. And so closing up the donut holes, which I think a lot of people in Bluffton have wanted because it is confusing. And then if the property is in the town, it gives us control over what is developed there. So this property that was we just approved, it's 65 acres, like I said. Now, this first came before town council back in 2020. So this has been 4 years in the making. They came in 2020, then I think they came back in maybe 2022 with more land, and the town council at that time said, we don't want to do that much because they were requesting some residential. And so it's been back and forth. It came on in December, the current request, which the 65 acres, and that I wasn't on town council at that time, but they went ahead and approved the initial annexation request. And so for the past 9 months, the applicant has been working with the town on this. So it came before our, and I have to say, at that December meeting, nobody came to it opposing this at all. I wasn't, like I said, on there, but I watched the meeting and not one person spoke out against it. And then it went in front of Planning Commission, again, initial one, I think it was May, and then it came back in front of Planning Commission in July. I think there might have been one person speaking out against it. And then it came in front of town council September for the first reading, and then November for the final reading. And so this has been a long time in the making. Like I said, if it's in the town, it gives us control, because this is just an annexation request. So from here, they have to actually go do their master plan of what's going to go on the property. And at that time, they would have to come back in front of Planning Commission and Town Council for approval for all of that. So this truly is just it going into the town, and then there's still a lot from here as far as the development goes.
The way I try to explain it to people is just that, thinking about when I would talk to Emmett McCracken about when Sun City was in the offing back in the late 90s. It's a situation where it's you either control it, or you either run the train or you get run over by it. And it's a situation where the development is approved, and it can either be in the town, in the county. Like you said, so many donut holes. Everybody drives through town or drives on the parkways, and they think that's all Bluffton. I mean, in spirit it is, of course, but like technically, Woodbridge it isn't technically town of Bluffton. There's a lot of little pockets, donut holes, as we call them, like you said, that aren't part of it. So why not bring that in and have control over how that will be developed, what can be conserved? Speak to the conservation part of this a little bit in terms of how that played into the decision.
Absolutely. So when this came back to us in front of September, I had some issues with the initial request. So they were asking for 32 of the 65 acres to be developed commercial. And I made a motion in the county, they were allowed 28. So I said, let's bring it back down to what the county would currently allow if they were not annexed into the town. So we brought it down, everybody agreed on that. And so we brought it down to 28 commercial developable acres, and the remaining acres will be put into either conservation easement or have some sort of deed restriction on it, and so it cannot be developed in the future. Now that wasn't the case if it stayed in the county. Now that the rest of that is wetlands, but you just never know in the future what could be allowed. And so I think by putting some sort of deed restriction on it, it really protected that from development in the future. I mean, 20, 30 years from now, we don't know what could happen. And so I really wanted that land protected. And so we are allowing the exact same amount that the county would allow by right today, but we are requiring the rest of that to go into a conservation easement, which I think was pretty key for me to protecting that land.
In terms of the development itself, the sense that I get, and just reading up on it, it almost feels like they're trying to mirror a little bit what's across the street in Buckwalter Place, in terms of there being a hospital centerpiece with some residential and some commercial built around it. How much of the specifics in terms of what would go there went into the decision making process for you guys?
Well, we really don't know what's going to go there. It's coming in as neighborhood center, which is what that property across that you're referring to is zoned. We have been told that, and I think they went on the record in September saying it, but that it is going to be a larger medical facility, which obviously we need. I mean, I'm not pro building. I'm not pro development. I want to protect the green space and the trees and all of that. But one thing, something that I have heard over and over is we need more doctors. We need more medical care. And so we have been told that that is going to be a big part of that. Should be residential in that area. It is zoned, they could, if they wanted to, and this developer does have 92 remaining residential dwelling units in that Buckwalter PUD. I don't know where his 92 specifically are, but if he wanted, so he currently can build 92 homes somewhere in Buckwalter PUD. That's something that he bought years and years ago.
Just for the layman, what's a PED?
I'm sorry, an RDU. I didn't mean a PUD. A residential dwelling. He has 92 residential dwelling units remaining in the Buckwalter PUD. If he wanted to take any of those and build on this new property, technically he could. I doubt he will, just because I think he will keep it commercial. It doesn't make sense from a business point of view to bring in those residential units. But like I said, he does have 92 RDUs left in Buckwalter. If he wanted to, he could. But one thing that council required him to do is that he would have to meet a 20% affordable housing component, which means 20% he would have to build. The first would be affordable housing. Again, we've not been told that. We do not anticipate that, but we are not giving him zero additional residential dwelling units rights. Now, he does own a property adjacent to this property we annexed in. Initially, he did want to bring that into the town as well. He's going to build 53 residential units on it, but when the town would require that 20% for affordable housing, and the county does not require that. He chose to keep that in the county and not request for it to be annexed into the town. So again,
where
that's a perfect. Property? It's right. It's right adjacent. Or? It's off of Bluffton Parkway, so it's kind of between the left parcel and, let's say, Hampton Lake. So
gotcha.
Again, this is a perfect example of the town. Is that the land
that's already clearing right now?
No, this would be different. Okay. I think this is different. I don't think this has started, but it's probably about to. But again, this isn't in the town. This is the county allowing him to build these 53 RDUs, residential units, on this property. But this just shows that the town, a lot of ways, is stricter than the county. And so that's why with different with this annexation request, I believe that being in the town, it gives us more control over what goes there. And, you spoke to Mr. McCracken a couple minutes ago in Sun City, and something Mr. McCracken told me was that, at that time, Sun City was looking at that property, but so was Disney. And they had to pick between the two, which is, Sun City's huge. It really kicked off a lot of the growth here in Bluffton back in the 90s. I remember vividly when that happened, but it could have been a lot worse. If we think about what would have happened if Disney would have bought that property, I can't imagine. And I think the same thing was true. Mr. McCracken also told us with Palmetto Bluff. Palmetto Bluff was in the county. They came to the town requesting to be annexed in. The county was going to allow, I think it was 2,000. They're allowed about 3,900 homes in Palmetto Bluff. The county was going to give them 2,000 more than the town, and I'm not sure how much more commercial, but they still chose to be annexed into the town instead of staying in the county. But that, again, is just a perfect example, and this came from Mr. McCracken, of what they had to pick between. Yes, Palmetto Bluff is huge, and that has added a lot of homes to our area, but if it stayed in the county, even though it feels that it's a part of Bluffton, it really could have been even more than they're allowed to.
Absolutely. And it's, I always say to people, because people are like, oh, they don't like, oh, it could have been worse. Well, the best solution would be for it to be undeveloped period. Well,
yes.
that is that's unrealistic, I guess, in terms of when you look at the master plan of the town, when you look at the master plan of the region overall, and growth is inevitable, and especially in a community with so many assets like we have, and so that's why we elect leaders to make the best decisions. That's why I always said to people, if you don't agree, or if you have a dissenting view of it, run for office and make your voice heard, or go to town council meetings more, go to county council meetings more. Well, when you push that button with folks, it's like then about 10% of them actually follow through on that, or more like 2 to 5% of them follow through on that. You decided differently. You decided to get involved.
I did, because I loved our town. Like, I would have loved no more growth. I would have loved, to stop all development, keep our green space, keep our trees. But unfortunately, like I said, we can't. And again, like, it would be telling someone, if somebody, let's say you bought a piece of property 15 years ago that you just kept and owned, and then all of a sudden I came to you and said, sorry, you can't build on it. It's just infringing on private property rights. But our secret got out. Bluffton was a secret for a long, long time, and it's not anymore. And it is a great place. The temperature, the low country way of life, all of it. And so I understand why people were moving here. I know that most of us would like for it to slow down, but the reality is, even if Bluffton as a town slowed down, it's still all around us, whether it be Beaufort County or even Jasper County. When you look at what Jasper County and Hardyville, what's going on,
they're going through the same thing that we. Honestly,
more.
Like
the amount of homes that they've approved.
Yeah.
Oh, the amount of homes that they've approved out there. They are going to be so much bigger than Bluffton is. But I can promise you, like, I chose to run, and I'm very, very thankful to be elected to do what I can. But the reality is 92% of Bluffton is already in these development agreements that are contractual binding agreements that you can't break. And they clearly define in those agreements, again, most of these were done 20, 25 years ago, how many homes can be built, how much commercial square footage there is. And so you can see what's left. Like, if you wanted to know, well, how much more building is going to go around in New Riverside or in Buckwalter, I can literally look at a spreadsheet and tell you how many more residential dwelling units are approved for that area. And the town knows all of it. But again, we can't, unless the developer came to us asking to renegotiate those development agreements, we can't take them away, because again, it's a contractual binding agreement that was put in place 20, 25 years ago. And until they expire, which most of them are not going to expire for quite a few, I think it's 10, 15, maybe even 20 years from now.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it feels like once you did your homework on this, once you got a full view of it, that this was a no-brainer for you, in terms of you obviously want to hear out all constituencies, but this seemed like it just made too much sense not to do. Is that fair to say?
I would say it's fair to say I don't take any vote lightly. And when you have so many people that you hear speaking out against it, it really makes it hard. Now, I was on the phone last week prior to this meeting quite a lot with people, some that live in the town and some that don't. I talked to people, and I have sat down with people in Rose Hill and Woodbridge and different communities not in the town, but it affects them. And even though they're not in the town, I want to hear their voice. And once I explained it to them, they all understood it. But again, it's confusing. It takes some explaining, and I get it. I mean, before I was on council, I would call my council member and say, why did you vote for this? This can't, da, 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 da. And I didn't fully understand it and why they, and if something, I had some issues with some buildings that were going up. I thought they were too big and too this, and they're like, okay, this was already by right allowed, but let's see what we can do to change this to prevent something like this in the future. And so I think having those conversations, but this was hard just because you have so many people outspoken online against it. But again, like I just felt like if I could explain it to them, that even though they might not like it, they might understand why it was the best thing for the town.
Absolutely. It's crazy to think that you're coming up on a year in this role. I mean, was this the hardest decision or hardest motion that you've been part of so far, or?
Is this the hardest one? This was the one, and again, it started at that September meeting with the first reading, but there were a lot of people at the meeting speaking out against those. And this was a harder one. There's been a few things. It's been, a busy year on town council. I will say that.
What, is there anything else that we haven't covered in terms of this that
Well,
you want to get out there?
Yes, the only other thing that I want to explain was that one thing that we heard a lot, and again, mainly at the September meeting, was this whole 5B. A lot of people said this is the town's backdoor way of getting 5B pushed through. And in the original motion back in September, and it was because of something that came out of Planning Commission, 5B saying that if 5B was ever built, this developer has to donate this one section. It's a section that would connect Buckwalter to Bluffton Parkway. It is a small section of the potential 5B road. This was something that he had to, from a 2012 agreement that he was required to do. And so Planning Commission put it into this and suggested that town council. It created a lot of confusion for people. And so at that September meeting, at the first reading, we voted to take it out. So I made a motion to take that part out. So to try to make it clear this had nothing to do with 5B. And the portion that I've heard people speak out against is a small connection, that the road that would be from Buckwalter to Bluffton Parkway, which that part is actually already in the town. And so by this annexation, it wasn't bringing that potential segment into the town. That segment's already in the town. But I want to stress that 5B has not been an issue this year. There's a study going on, which should be done at the beginning of the year, in which once we get that back and see what the recommendations are, we will then have to deal with 5B. And at that time, I want to hear from everybody, because I've heard of a lot from people against it, but I'm going to say I've heard a lot of people for it. And so at that time, when we really have to make decisions with where, what we're going to do with 5B, I want to sit down with the different communities, talk to people on the phone and hear from them about 5B. But 5B in 2024, since I have been on town council, has not been something that we've talked about, and trying to make that clear at the town council meeting with this annexation was important to me. But it is going to come up, and so it is a conversation that we will be having next year for sure.
Anytime you still see the proposed Bluffton Parkway extension on these development plans, it's gonna bring it back up, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna. There's people that feel that because of the added traffic congestion there, potential added stress on the roads there, that this is gonna further make the Parkway extension an inevitable. Can you speak to that at all, or
Well,
is it
I
too
would just
soon?
say that you've got to remember that currently this landowner can already build. And so they're already taking that into account, because they can build, and so it coming into the town, whether, when they look at these studies, it doesn't matter if it's county property or town property, they're taking into account what it's currently zoned. And so I would say, now I'm not working on this study, nor am I a traffic engineer, but I'm assuming that they're already taking anything into account as it is currently zoned. And again, we are not upzoning this property at all.
In terms of, before I let you go, what has, just overall, what's been the your feeling in terms of your first 10 months here on council? Is it what you thought it would be? Is there anything that's been different?
Yeah, there's been some different. I mean, I think until you get on here, you really don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But I would have to say, our staff at the town, they really do a great job. And I don't think they get enough credit, but they work hard and they work at the direction of council. And so if council is, let's slow growth, that's where staff will get on board with that. And so I really think our town staff, they do such a great job. They've been so helpful. And I met with them, over and over and over again, just because I've really wanted to understand everything. But I'm just thankful to be on there. I'm thankful to have a voice. I'm thankful to hear from everybody that I do. I love talking to again, residents or people that don't technically live in the town, because it affects them just the same if you're in those donut holes. But I think, next year will be equally as interesting. And but I'm always happy to explain anything. I appreciate you reaching out. If there's ever questions, which I'm sure next year, if you wanted to talk about 5B, once that becomes a hot topic, again, that probably will be the hardest thing that I'll have to vote on, because I think it really is. So far, it's about equal people for it and against it. And I think no matter what decision I make, you're going to kind of piss a lot of people off, to be honest.
You're always going to piss 50% off.
I know.
Any which way you go, right?
Yes. But I'm always happy. So if anybody, if you reach out to me, whether it be a meeting or on the phone, I'm happy to try to explain where I'm coming from with my different votes.
Okay, one last thing before I let you go. Holiday season's coming up. You're a business owner in town. You took the time to come on. Any plugs you want to put out there? No, I just support your small businesses all over town. We have such great businesses in this town, and so much of the small businesses, it's what makes it special, and so just go out there and support them, and hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving and great holidays. Awesome. Emily Burden, pleasure to speak to you. Thank you, Tim. Big fan, and I really appreciate, whenever you said it, whenever I reach out, you always hit me back right away, and I've always appreciated that, and it's great to see you on video. Hope to see you in person soon. Thank you, Tim. You too. You got it.
Well, so it is weird watching that now. That was just that was actually filmed in November, as you can hear from the end of the video and the holiday shout out. And weird to see. I have new glasses now. I'm a little thinner now. Those who were asking me, I have plenty of folks still asking me, and I really appreciate it, about the my weight loss journey. I am down about 85 pounds right now. A little slower over the last month or so. I've started to add some more regular foods into my diet, eating in moderation and all that fun stuff. But I need to start some next phases, which I'm working on in terms of exercise. But yeah, things are going well, and appreciate all of the DMs and the folks that see me around town. I appreciate the support very much. Okay, so huge thanks to Emily Burden. Now that again, we played that as a preview. We had hoped to start Low Country Chronicle in December, and just some life stuff happened as everybody goes through themselves. Some life stuff happened on my end, and so we started a little later, but it's still a very relevant topic, and so we wanted to share that interview with Emily once again to a wider audience, and we appreciate Bluffton Town Council member Emily Burden joining us to discuss Parkway Corners. So, one last thing before we go that I would like to share with you is we've got some birthdays, shout outs to pass along. Again, huge thanks to our partners, Coastline Overhead Door, KL Power Wash, Bluffton Physical Therapy, Mathnasium. So, today, as we record this, February 12th, Barb Danier, Bob Trubert, Lynn Foster, and Jack Limbach. All February 12th babies. Happy birthday to you. February 11th, Chris Falco, Lovey Gilbreth, Madison Ray Peters. Happy birthday to y'all. February 10th, Jody W.C. Jackson and Lori Tichetta. Huge birthday shout outs to you guys. February 9th, big day. Minnie Danyal, Jason Goldstein, Sammy Nally, Martha Albertley, who I saw a lot of love for on social media. Happy birthday to Martha and to Holly Panther. February 8th, Nancy Tatum, Judy Newman Syriacs on February 8th. And then February 7th, Lauren Sanders Weaver. If you have a birthday, an anniversary, a big event you want to share, message me, Tim Wood. Message me the details on Facebook Messenger, or email them to timawood@gmail.com. So there you go with that. All right, we're done for this edition. Third time's a charm. We got all the way through. Appreciate those who actually stuck with it. Again, just want to let you know you can find the podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, and Podbean. Anywhere you find your favorite podcast, really. You'll be able to see this on YouTube, on our Low Country Chronicle YouTube channel. And just want to say huge thanks for all the feedback. And if you've got an interesting story that you want to share, we want to tell it. So please reach out to me, and we'll get you on for an interview. Again, Low Country Chronicle chronicles what's going on in the area. So if it's interesting to you, it's going to be interesting to a lot of people. One last shout out. I just want to say special thanks to Dave Lavery, giving us the great open. Jevin Daly for allowing us to use It's a May River Thing. Listen, huge thank you to everybody. That is another edition of Low Country Chronicle. My name is Tim Wood. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. I believe we're going to do another edition before Valentine's Day, or maybe on Valentine's Day. That is the hope, the plan. We shall see. For now, I bid you adieu. I hope you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you as always for watching, for listening to Low Country Chronicle. Have a good rest of your week, everybody.
It's a May River